In a world that's just full of these polite, almost timid AIs, a new player has just entered the chat, and it is anything but boring. Today, we're diving deep into Grok, the AI from Elon Musk's XAI that promises to be, well, a little different. So let's get right into it and see what this rebellious AI is really all about. And right there, that quote, which comes straight from Grok itself, pretty much tells you everything you need to know. It's witty, it's a bit sarcastic, and it's hinting at that uncensored edge that really sets it apart. See, this isn't just a tool, it's an AI with a personality. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about what makes Grok so unique, its personality. Then we're going to get hands-on with its core functions. After that, we'll tackle the big question. What's the real difference between the free version and the paid SuperGrok? And finally, we'll give you the verdict on whether it's actually worth it for you. Okay, let's kick things off with Grok's defining feature, its personality. It's been programmed to have a sense of humor and, a bit of a rebellious streak, supposedly inspired by The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This is definitely not your average, overly cautious AI assistant. So what is it, technically speaking? Well, Grok is a large language model built by XAI. But here's the absolute crucial part. It's deeply integrated with the X platform. This gives it a real-time live connection to what's happening in the world, a kind of superpower that leaves most other AIs totally stuck in the past. And this slide just perfectly illustrates that superpower. Think about it. While most chatbots are working with knowledge that just stops on a certain date, Grok is plugged directly into the live, chaotic, constantly updating stream of information on X. So for breaking news or the latest trends, Grok isn't just recalling history. It's right there in the middle of the conversation as it happens. Okay, personality is great and all, but what can this thing actually do? Now we get to the really good stuff, the core functions. We're going to look at how Grok searches, how it reasons, and how it creates. This is where we move from theory into practice. So the interface gives you three really powerful modes. You've got deep search for doing some seriously comprehensive research, think for breaking down complex problems logically, and generate for creating content. Let's put each one to the test, shall we? First up, deep search. We gave it a pretty challenging but real-world task: create a full buyer's guide for noise-canceling headphones. Now, this is something that would take a person hours and hours of research to do properly. And here's the result. Now, the key number to look at here is 66. In just a few moments, Grok synthesized information from 66 different web pages to create its guide. I mean, just think about that for a second. For a human, that is hours, maybe even a full day of work. It's an absolutely massive time saver. Okay, next up, let's test its brain with the think mode. We used that classic riddle that's specifically designed to trick your brain into giving the intuitive but wrong answer. So the question is, can Grok's logic beat the common mistake? And yes, it gets it right. The ball costs 5 cents. But what's even more important is that it shows you its work. It uses what's called a chain of thought, where it basically thinks out loud, walking you through the logic step by step. This transparency is how it avoids the trap that catches so many of us. And it proves it's not just spitting out information, it's actually reasoning. And now for what might be its most jaw-dropping feature: image generation. To really test its less filtered reputation, we gave it a prompt that other AIs would almost certainly refuse: a photorealistic image of a public figure in a, let's say, a comical scenario. The result is, well, it's stunningly realistic. One user called it a crazy quality deepfake. And this doesn't just show off its powerful image model, it shows a fundamentally different approach. This less filtered nature could be amazing for creative freedom and satire. But, it also raises some big questions about how this kind of power is used. So you've seen what it can do, which of course brings us to the big question everyone's asking. What does all this power cost? Let's break down the differences between the free version and the premium SuperGrok subscription. This table pretty much lays it all out. The free version is, for all intents and purposes, a trial. You get the basic model, but with really strict usage limits and just a little taste of the advanced features. SuperGrok, on the other hand, is where you unlock everything: the most powerful models, much higher limits, and priority access to all the good stuff, including image generation. And what does that full potential cost you? Well, the SuperGrok subscription is definitely in the premium tier, coming in at around €30 per month. That puts it a little bit above some competitors. So whether it's a good value really depends on what you need it for. So we finally arrive at the verdict. Should you pay for it? It's time to put all of this together into some clear, actionable advice to help you decide. Honestly, you should seriously think about paying for SuperGrok if you're a power user. If you live and breathe on the X platform, if you need up-to-the-second information for your work, or if you need a heavy-duty tool for research and reasoning without ever hitting a limit, then yeah, the subscription is probably a fantastic investment for you. On the other hand, the free version is probably more than enough if you're a casual user, right? If your AI needs are pretty occasional, if you're on a tight budget, or really, if you just want to test the waters and see what Grok's unique personality is all about before committing, the free tier is a great way to do just that. At the end of the day, Grok is so much more than just another chatbot. It's a statement. It's an experiment in creating an AI that's plugged into the real-time pulse of the internet with a rebellious personality to match. It pushes us beyond simply asking what our AI tools can do and makes us ask what we want them to be. So I'll leave you with this. Are you ready to chat with the most irreverent AI on the web?